I'm someone who's passionate about authentic, vulnerable conversation and going deep with people. And all of us, or many of us, are spending a lot more time nowadays on Zoom, on video calls, and it can feel tricky to feel like you're having an authentic conversation with someone over Zoom. And so sometimes my clients ask me, um, how do I show up to work meetings, or how do I show up to check-ins or friend conversations on Zoom in a way that feels genuinely connective? Um, as someone who has worked exclusively remotely for many years and who has built my coaching and counseling practice on authentic connection and really going deep with people, I want to offer you 5 of my tips on how to do this most effectively. So, tip number 1 is don't multitask. So I think one of the most respectful things that you can do with someone is close all your other windows or hide them and focus exclusively on the window where you're with this other person. And you might be tempted, you might think they won't notice, no big deal, to do a quick tab switch to quickly check something else. But there are some telltale signs. If someone's paying attention, they will see a subtle shift on your face in the lighting. If you switch to another tab that has more white in it, for example, then you'll see kind of a quick flash on the person's face. And as soon as they see that, it's even if they understand that maybe you're just doing it for a second, I think there's still some subconscious feeling of, oh, this person's leaving, they don't care about me, they're not focused on me. So in the same way that it's important in person to really stay present with someone, stay making eye contact, I think it's really important to stay focused on that person on digitally. So tip number 2 is to go further with this by trying to simulate eye contact. And so the most effective thing that you can do, because eye contact is so important to humans, our brains are really wired to kind of look into someone else's eyes and connect that way. A really important thing you can do is arrange your Zoom window or whatever program so that it's as close to your webcam as possible. So often, if you full screen the window, then the person's eyes will be kind of further down the screen and your webcam might be at the top, so there's a greater distance. So what I like to do is I shrink the Zoom window and then move it as high as possible up the screen so that their eyes are as close as possible to my webcam, so that when I'm looking at their eyes, my eyes are as close as possible to the camera. And I've done a lot of tests on this because I think it's so critical, and I found that it makes a huge difference. And if you want to go even further, as I have, there are different solutions available. Like you can get kind of a gooseneck, like bendable tripod or holder thingy for your webcam, and a desk clamp or whatever, and just kind of actually balance the webcam in front of your screen so that it's directly above the eyes of the window. Tip number 3 is to catch yourself with the limiting belief or the framing that digital communication is bound to be worse, right? I think we've all heard this this idea that so much of communication is nonverbal and feeling someone's physical presence close to you. And so it's really easy to have this idea that something is inevitably lost when we're online with each other. And obviously, yeah, something is lost. It's not quite as good as being there in person. But I think if you really slow down and allow yourself to check in, like often with my clients, if they say they're feeling alone or they feel distant, I invite them to actually slow down, close their eyes for a moment, and really check. Do you feel me here with you? Do you feel like we're here together? And if you really slow down and investigate that, you really feel, is this person actually here with me? Do they actually care? Are they actually listening? Then you might be surprised that it feels more connective than you might think. And I don't know if it was in the frame or not, but you might have noticed when I was closing my eyes and checking, I automatically put my hand on my heart or hand on my chest. And that's kind of part of how I check and kind of feel myself, really checking in, like, do I feel present? Do I feel this person here with me? It's kind of a way of forcing myself to get into my body instead of just being in my head. Because the head can come up with all these stories of, logically speaking, they're far away and I'm not feeling their body, therefore this is inferior, right? But if you can really feel, okay, I am here with this person, they are here with me, then that's different. So that's kind of another hack, is just to give yourself touch, right? That even if this person is just pixels on a screen, you can almost trick your body into thinking that they're touching you, that they're closer, by giving yourself a little massage, putting your hand on your belly, your hand on your chest, on your heart, feeling your heartbeat, just giving your shoulder a little rub or your arm a little rub, or putting your hand on top of your hands or your hands on your thighs, and just feeling that physical sensation of the weight of your hands. That can be enough to send a little comfort signal to your body. So often when someone is sharing with me over Zoom something sad or emotionally challenging, I will now instinctually put my hand on my heart or give my chest a rub. And that, it sounds a little woo-woo maybe, but it actually helps me feel them. It helps me feel what they're feeling. And that can be kind of a hack too, that if you're trying to empathize with someone and connect with them over Zoom, if they tell you something really challenging, something hard that happened in their life, instead of just thinking about it logically, try to actually imagine, like, wow, what if that happened to me? Can I really feel that inside me? Can I let that idea land in me so I'm experiencing that? And I can say, wow, that feels hard, because I'm actually feeling some of it myself. It's not just intellectual. Tip number 4 is to make yourself physically comfortable. It can be really easy, if you're not careful when on the computer, to get tense, to hold your muscles tightly, to be in kind of a weird posture, leaning forward, or your head tilted at a weird angle, up or down. And so it's really worth taking the time to set up your space, make sure you have a comfortable chair, make sure your camera's at the right angle, your monitor's at the right angle, so that you can just relax. And you can kind of scan down your body and notice, am I holding tension anywhere? Am I holding tight? Am I exerting effort? Am I working harder than I need to? How can I physically kind of loosen myself up and let myself soften? I also like to keep objects around me to use my hands on. So I've got this different fidget things, like this little slug creature that's fun to move with my hand. And then I've got a few of these river rocks that are this nice weight to hold and just feel. Again, it's kind of like putting that weight of my hand on me, just feeling the weight of this rock is kind of comforting. And I can kind of trace my finger around it and just feel the smooth edges. So I can just keep this below the camera and no one knows that I have it. But it helps me stay present. It helps me feel some physicality. And then tip number 5 is, I think it's really helpful to get an external microphone. So you don't have to go quite as crazy as getting like a podcaster style with a mount and all this. But some kind of microphone that you can keep closer to your mouth, or that you can kind of have pointed at your mouth, so that you feel able to speak at a lower voice, at a lower volume. And these can be surprisingly affordable. You can get ones for $20 that will sound a lot better. And that has 2 benefits. One is that the person that you're talking to will hear you more clearly, and it'll help you connect, because you'll feel more like you're in the same room instead of like this like tinny on the phone quality, right? And you can get microphones that kind of clip to the top of your monitor, or ones that sit on the desk, or even like ones that clip on your shirt. And again, they can be very affordable. Like even a $10 clip-on mic will sound much better than what is built into your computer. And then the second benefit is that it allows you to speak at a lower volume. And to me, this helps it feel like a more intimate, connective conversation when it feels like I can talk at a soft level, and it allows me to, it feels more like a kind of like a private conversation. Like, here we are together going deep. We're really hearing each other. Whereas if you don't have that, often you might get into kind of like work meeting mode. You're saying, hello, everyone. Oh, yes, here we are today to talk about this subject. It's kind of like over the top emoting at a higher volume that can feel faker. And so I think it's worth investing in the tools if you do spend a lot of time on digital calls, so that you can be more natural in your sitting, in your leaning, in how you're looking, in how you're speaking. All these things make a difference together. All right. So my 5 tips again are: don't multitask, focus on the person. Arrange your tools so that you're making as close to real eye contact as possible. Move past the limited framing that digital communication is inherently going to be worse, and instead really check in to feel the presence and feel that you really are here with this person. Adjust your ergonomics to make everything more comfortable and potentially have something to do with your hands. And invest in tools, a nicer webcam that you can position, a nicer microphone, so they'll appreciate the quality of your voice and you can speak more quietly and more naturally. All right. I hope that helps, and let me know how it goes in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful day.